In the Big 12 this weekend, absolute anarchy. Outside of Oklahoma State beating Oklahoma, there were some other very fun games. In the morning afternoon slate, combine the morning and the afternoon, Kansas State and Texas, Oklahoma State, Houston and Baylor, UCF and Cincinnati. We saw 9 points separate 4 games. 9 points separate 4 games. Houston beating Baylor by 1 in overtime. UCF beating Cincinnati by 2, getting its first Big 12 victory as a university. Cincinnati might not get one all season long. They fell to 0-6. Then you had Oklahoma State by 3 over Oklahoma. And then Texas, Kansas State. Let's get into this game just for a second, and I'll break down the rest of these because I'm very impressed with Kansas. I was very, very impressed again with West Virginia, who dropped off for a couple of weeks, and they are back. How about Kansas State? Colin Klein, you need to answer some questions. There is a 4th down play, 4th and goal from the 4, where Colin Klein pisses down his left pant leg. Oh, Will Howard is in the gun alone. Our second best running quarterback, by the way, is in the gun alone. Oh, I wonder what he's going to do. He's going to run the ball up the middle. Everybody knows that. Everybody in the stadium knows it. I know it. The DC knows it. Texas knows it. He's just going to run the ball up middle. Guess what he did? I guess it was 3rd and goal. And it doesn't work. All right, we'll kick the field goal. The thing gone. He missed it. And you know what? Maybe missing that field goal was the benefit of Kansas State, because in the end, now you get an opportunity to stop Texas, who's just kind of playing, they're just tiptoeing around. We're probably just going to win this game. That's fine. And you know what happens? It worked. You get the ball back, and then bam, you nail a 45-yard field goal, right? The 25-yard field goal was too far, but 45 yards, fine. Chris Tennant, nicely done. You go to overtime. And then you decide, you know what? This is it. Here's our moment. What are we going to do? Just some stupid play. Chris Kleiman, just sit him down and have I know he's a legend. I know that Colin Klein is a legend, but you got to sit him down and have a conversation of what and why. You got an opportunity late in the game to steal things, put it away, get it done. Score a touchdown, and you're home free. You're up by 4. At that point, I trust Kansas State's defense to keep Texas from a touchdown, especially the way Kansas State was they were on a roll in the 4th quarter. And then you didn't score a single point in the overtime period. Texas kicked a field goal. And you say, you know what? We want to go for it here. We're going to take the opportunity to go for it and try to win the ball game. I don't hate that call. I do hate the play call. Just, my brother in Christ, please make it easy on yourself. It's like you gave him one option. It's just a little corner. It's like, Will Howard's rolling right. He had a great game too, and you crapped all over it. You have one route, and then he gets sacked. I mean, it's effectively a sack. Can you tell I'm frustrated? I'm frustrated. Colin Klein, leave him on the tarmac. Kansas over Iowa State. I was all over Iowa State in this game. I thought that the Cyclones were going to get it. Being at home in a night game in Ames, where Kansas has not won since 2008, and the Jayhawks absolutely proved me wrong. This is a strong performance for the second week in a row for Kansas. Their ranking is going to continue to climb, and maybe more important than that, they are still in the hunt for a Big 12 championship. The offense was okay. I wasn't blown away by Kansas offense. If you watched the Kansas OU game, you probably weren't, for the duration of the game, blown away by the offense till like the last 5 minutes. You thought, oh, wow, Kansas is clicking. I do love what Jason Bean brings to the football team, not just from a athleticism, gamer standpoint, but also durability. He says, end of the game, I'm kind of banged up. It's my team. This is for me to go out there and get it done. There were windows for Iowa State to win this. Kansas only had 16 first downs. The Jayhawks, who didn't turn the ball over, did have 8 penalties for 80 yards. That's where they weren't as impressive when it comes to discipline. 74 rushing yards is not great either. The window's there for Iowa State to get it done. And Rocco Beck just wasn't that guy. I haven't had to say that too many times this season because he's been so surprisingly impressive, but he wasn't that guy. Kansas is that team. I can tell you this, looking down the rest of their schedule, Texas Tech, that's a win. Kansas State game is huge. And then at Cincinnati, if Kansas wins all 3 of those with 2 losses in Big 12 play, you're going to need some help from Oklahoma State losing a couple. or Texas losing a couple. I could see Kansas, Oklahoma State, and Arlington, or Kansas and Texas and Arlington. It's still a possibility. Mathematically still a possibility. For West Virginia, this is similar for you. You've got an opportunity still to go to Arlington, 6-3 overall, bowl eligible after we all picked you at 14th. You got to go to Oklahoma. That's tough, but you will beat Cincinnati. You will beat Baylor. If you win that Oklahoma game on the road, West Virginia, this is the team of destiny. Again, you're going to need some help. You're going to need Texas to lose a couple of games, or a game at least. You're going to need Oklahoma State to lose a couple of games since they have that tiebreaker. But what a win. Oh, you put Retzloff kid in a body bag. And I say that. He was fine. It just came down to the fact that BYU couldn't run the football. There was no relief for him. And West Virginia's a machine. A machine. Jaheim White, CJ Donaldson. It doesn't matter who runs the ball. Garrett Green. I love just Nico Marchiel in general. Throw him in there at the very end. Fun. The receiving core was balanced. Again, I don't understand why West Virginia lost to Houston. If that tanks your season, if Dana Holgorsen keeps you out of Arlington, that sucks. For BYU, dude, drawing board. Ooh. Like, losing is okay, but the way you've lost, A-Rod, there's going to be a conversation there. Not being able to score, not being able to run the football, piss poor. UCF, I love John Rice Plumlee. Congrats on winning your first Big 12 game. Houston beating Baylor. Baylor is terrible. Houston is terrible, but Baylor was just a little bit more terrible on Saturday. Ballsy from Dana Holgorsen to punch it in with 2-point conversion. Houston, I watched the game in person. I was at that one. I was impressed with how Power 5 ready Houston looked defensively for the first time this year. Is that by virtue of Baylor's bad offense? Maybe, but I'm going to give Houston credit. Coming up, who's going to win the Big 12? Who's going to win the Big 12 now? This is Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is where I go to make money every single day. Prize Picks, what you can do is you can parlay these, how do you say props, basically, right? So you say Travis Kelce, you have more than 4.5 receptions. You'll say that Zach Wilson will have over 1 touchdown, and then $10 to win. Boom, $250. Rapper Meek Mill uses it. Andrew Schultz, the comedian, uses it. You can now have community plays, see what those guys are playing. You can rally behind them and win more money. Steph Curry, more than 29 points. Nikola Jokic for more than 10 rebounds. Parlayed, boom, it hits. Prize Picks. And if somebody gets hurt in the first half of a game, you get a forgiveness deal. It's just like, hey, we forgive you. I'm going to charge you this money. You can. I love it. Submit bets in less than 60 seconds and just take money away from Prize Picks. You win the money. You select the players. This is all about your skill, your knowledge of sport. Put your knowledge of sport to the test at prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege. Use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Put $100 in, they give you $100 back. prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege. Use code LockedOnCollege right now. Daily fantasy sports made easy.